How's it going? And welcome back to Chasing Victory with Ben Ballion and Jason Lee. I'm Ben Ballion and that's Jason Lee. And today we have an NBA Christmas Day recap for you. Some awesome games. Knicks Spurs in the early window. Viewership was up 84%. It was such a huge day for the NBA. Jason, how's it going?
It's going good, man. NBA on Christmas is back. This was the one day that the NBA had, and unfortunately, it got shadowed by the NFL. But you know what? Their games were a joke. So it's all about the NBA, and they're back.
Yeah. Like I said before, the NBA needed it so bad. The NFL is pigs. They're trying to take over every day. We're gonna get to a point at some point where there's an NFL game every day of the week. I hope you know that because it's all about the money. It's all about it, and all these games are gonna be on Hulu and Peacock and Paramount Plus. All these random subscriptions. Um, but the NBA, it's gonna be on all these channels also. NBA, ABC, ESPN. It's everywhere. But they're back. The product has been corrected, at least for now. I mean, we saw last night, we're recording this on Friday. So on Thursday, there were 4 game winners. The Blazers had one, the Pistons had one, the Warriors had one. Or not the Warriors, the Wizards, rather. Just these random teams that are bad, but a lot of great games have gone on. So let's just jump right into it with the Knicks Spurs in the 12 o'clock window. Knicks win at 117 to 114. An awesome game down the stretch. I'm a huge Knicks fan. I know we haven't talked much basketball. It's been a lot of football recently, but this is such a big win for the Knicks because it shows me so much. Mikal Bridges had struggled to start the year. He wasn't shooting well. His defense was there, but you brought him in to score a little bit. You brought him in to be the third option on a viable championship contending team. He wasn't doing that. In the month of December, though, he's averaging 22 points, and he put up a 40 burger in this one, and he led the Knicks to victory. And that's how it's got to happen for the Knicks. Jalen Brunson isn't going to go out there and score 40 points a night. It's got to be the other guys. Like you saw OG earlier in the week against the Bulls. He dropped 30 plus points. He had 31 that game. We've seen Karl Anthony Towns do it a bunch of times, and now we see Mikal Bridges get in the mix. So that's how it's got to happen with the Knicks. This whole starting lineup can score. Josh Hart can score, but he's there to be the glue. Everybody else has to step up on any given night.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, it's a welcome back to Mikal Bridges. I mean, where are there more episodes of the Mikal Bridges show? I want to watch that show every week. But yeah, they brought him in because they needed someone with that starting five. They wouldn't have given up 5 first-round picks for this guy if they didn't see some potential or God-given ability to play basketball. That's what he's there for, and that's exactly what he did. It was his show. Don't get me wrong. Everyone like Cat Brunson, they put up 20. Josh Hart put up a double-double. Everyone played great, and that's the thing with the Knicks. This is the thing. Here's the thing. You got to contend, and if you want to stay in the top 3, it's a bit much, but you want to stay in the top 3, you have to play at this consistent level every game.
You have to play at this consistent level, but also like the Cavs they've been 500 since their 18-0 start. They haven't been anything too special since that first 18 game run. The Celtics schedule coming up is really weak. It's a lot more difficult than the Knicks. And what I meant to say is that the Knicks schedule is really weak. Their next 3 games, they're playing Orlando as we're recording this, and then they have 2 games in a row against Washington. They should go on a 3-game winning streak here to close out the year and then start the new year off strong. They have to stack wins and just keep winning games. That's what they did last January. That was their formula to getting the number 2 seed. The Celtics are going to be good. The Celtics are going to be so difficult to beat. I'm not very worried about the Cavs. I know they're your Cavs. I know you love Donovan Mitchell and those boys, Jared Allen and them, but I'm not too worried about them come playoff time. They don't have a big that can shoot, and that's such a huge factor of the NBA today.
You're right. I mean, I see where you're coming from, but like, here's the thing: if you want to pile up wins, this is your time to do it. There is no more play-in stupid tournament. Here's $500,000 and a trophy. No more. The only trophy you're competing for is the Larry O'Brien Trophy in June. And if you want to compete for that, you need to be strong. I don't know where Cleveland's going to fall. I don't know where Boston's going to fall. I don't know where someone like Orlando or Milwaukee is going to end up. You should be in the top 2 right now. This team on paper is great. There is really nothing. There's no flaw. Like you said with the Cavs, yeah, they're 26-4. No big man can shoot. Jared Allen doesn't shoot threes. Evan Mobley will barely shoot a three-pointer. There's no big man on that team that can shoot. Same with Boston. Al Horford kind of shoots, but where Kristaps Porzingis,
Everyone shoots on that Celtics roster, whether it's Xavier Tillman, Kristaps Porzingis, Al Horford. It doesn't matter. Everybody can shoot the three-pointer, and that's what makes them so deadly. But come playoff time, if they cool off for a week, somebody could pick them off. That's why I like the Knicks in an Eastern Conference Finals, because I know the Celtics are such a threat and they're a juggernaut at this point. But if their threes don't go down for a week, what's gonna happen? Because they live by the three, but they also die by the three.
they do. They really do. But here's the thing. Right now, Knicks are only what? They're 22
They're
and 8
20 and 10.
20 and 10. It's a 2-game. They're back by 6 games from first and 2 games back from second with Boston. Here's the thing. Like you said, if Boston slips and they just slowly slip off and they just start losing these games, the Knicks are going to come in and the Knicks are going to soar. And that is a team I would not want to face in any round of the playoffs. Absolutely not.
One thing I'll tell you, this Knicks team is going to be very consistent. They're going to stay at this level of play. I watch every single game. I know this Knicks team is going to stay at the top of the Eastern Conference. And I know that's not a crazy thing to say because they look at their roster and stuff, but they're going to be top 2, 3 seed the rest of the way out. I'm not saying they're going to get the number 1, but they will not go below the number 3 seed. And with the rest of the Eastern Conference, the way it's shaping out, to me, this is a 3-horse race for the number 1 seed. Like I said, it's the Knicks, the Celtics, and the Cavs. Once you get to the playoffs, though, I'm not worried about the Cavs. I think it's just going to be who gets the number 1 overall seed. Because the Cavs, come playoff time, they can't shoot. They don't have enough shooting. But they because of their hot start, they went 18-0 to start the season or whatever it was. It's going to be so difficult to come back from that. And they're going to have to lose at a consistent level. They're going to have to stay at like a 500 level the rest of the way. If the Knicks want to slowly crawl up and gain strength gradually and be at their peak in late March and April and May, if they want to catch the Cavs, which is the ultimate goal. And I think they can do it. It's just going to take a lot and a lot of help.
Yeah, it is. And let me ask you this. Let's play this out. So, then are you worried at all about the bench with the Knicks? Like when I say the bench and I say are you worried? Are you saying like in an ideal situation should somebody from the starting 5 stay in, at least one person when the subs start coming in, or you think you are fine for like at least 8 minutes or so of the entire bench just playing basketball?
Well, I mean, the bench is only 3 people. The bench goes 3 deep. It goes Deuce McBride, Cam Payne, and Precious Achiuwa. So Mikal Bridges is usually the guy that stays on the court. It's usually Mikal and Josh, I believe. But no, it's actually usually Mikal, and then they switch off with Jalen and Kat. So I've said this before. The Knicks at the trade deadline, they need 2 pieces. They need one forward who could really shoot the ball, like a 3/4, like with a little bit of size, so closer to a power forward. And then they need a backup center who could play defense and really rebound. Because in my mind, Mitchell Robinson's done. I don't see him coming back and playing another minute in a Knicks uniform. I think he's very movable at the trade deadline, and I also think Jericho Sims is very movable. Right now, I think I talked about it earlier. Landry Shamet coming back. He's gonna be another piece on the bench. That's another guard that can fill it up. The Knicks have enough guard depth. I'm good on the guards. I just want to see what they can add in the front court. But there are people that are staying from the starting lineup. There's never a full bench unit in the game unless it's like garbage time. But that's different.
Yeah, that's different. Of course, I would see that. But all right, I think that's fair. And if that's the case, you keep with a 3-man bench. That means at least
No. The bench has to be extended. Like that's unacceptable come playoff time. It's got to be
that's true.
3, 4. It's got to be 4 or 5 guys at least until you get to the playoffs, and then it gets tightened up from there.
Who would you want in an ideal situation? If like you want to you say Mitchell Robinson and what? Mitchell Robinson and a second or?
Well, I don't know what the trade package would be, but I have 2 guys that I'm eyeing right now. Jonas Valanciunas from the Pelicans. They're awful. I could see them blowing it up. And then also, this is an underrated pick. Nick Richards from the Charlotte Hornets. He plays a really nice game if you go watch his tape. He's a forward. He's like 7 foot tall. He could play basketball. He would fit this Knicks team well off the bench. And Charlotte's going to be looking to sell because they're not in it either.
Oh, true. Charlotte is looking to sell. I feel like that's what you need. You need to make a couple moves, and you need to be the most complete team,
Yeah,
especially when you face Boston, because I feel like that's the end all be all in the Eastern Conference Finals. Like you said, I'm a Cavs fan. I'll say it flat out. I don't think we're going to get even near the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't know how we're 26-4.
because you
I don't know
started
where
off
I
high.
don't know
It
where
happens. Teams have those stretches where they play incredible basketball for a month. I mean, you look at the Knicks from January. I think that Knicks team was more legit than the Cavs. But you look at them; they were what? I think it was like 12-2 over that month, and then everybody got hurt. I'm not saying the Cavs are going to get hurt, but things happen. That's just basketball.
Yeah, they're gonna fizzle out. I feel like they are like an 18-0 start, and then there's 26-4. I don't know what happens. We'll see what happens with Denver tonight, but I feel like it's gonna be New York and Boston, the rematch. Everybody wants the
What
rematch.
rematch? They didn't play in
Oh,
the playoffs.
they didn't play in the playoffs.
No,
Who'd you,
Knicks lost to
who'd
the
you get out
Pacers
with?
last year.
Who'd you guys get bounced by?
Pacers. It went
Oh, right.
in
Yeah,
seven
you guys
games.
got bounced
That
by
was
the
awful. Knicks had a chance to go up 3-0 in that series. If they went up 3-0, we would have been in the Eastern Conference Finals easy. But Andrew Nemhard hit that crazy contested three from like 30 feet out. That was ridiculous. And,
Yeah.
and then the Celtics showed them who the best team in the East was last year. Because I don't think the Knicks were going to get past the Celtics last year. But like the addition of Cat really takes them to that next level. Like adding like a real scoring big. Like Julius Randle, you could consider him a big that could score. But like Cat is such an upgrade.
Yeah, okay. So like right now we get to the Eastern Conference Finals. Let's say you make a couple moves. Let's say not ideally you get the players you particularly want. Let's just say they fill those gaps in on the bench. Knicks Celtics Eastern Conference Finals. Who's winning that series?
If the Knicks fill the gaps, it's
Yeah,
going seven. First off, it's going 7 games. And then anything can happen in game seven. I don't know. I love this Knicks team. Like I it's gonna be such a good series if we get it. I really hope we do get a 7 game series between the Knicks and Celtics. I think the Knicks can win it. And this is probably me being a homer, but the Celtics are so good. But I don't know. I just like the way the Knicks compete and that they're never out. The Celtics, when they go down, they're one of those teams that rides the momentum so much. And I just think the Knicks are better than that, and they know how to handle it. They know how to handle the ups and the downs. Like they have such a good culture. All the Nova guys coming from Jay Wright's system, and then you have Karl Anthony Towns who played under Coach K in college, another awesome coach. And you give them Coach Tom Thibodeau. Like they're such a well coached team, well disciplined. Like Jalen Brunson's going to get out of the shooting slump eventually. You have to know that. And then come playoff time, the last 2 seasons we've seen him in the playoffs as a Knick, he's been a playoff riser. There are people like Julius Randle who are playoff droppers. Jalen Brunson has excelled in the playoffs. And that's something that's very rare. That's something those kind of guys aren't too common. And when you have those guys, they give you a chance to win every night. Like we saw Jalen Brunson was dropping 40 points with ease in the playoffs last year. And I know that's because everybody else was injured and he was taking about 50 million shots a game. But he was scoring at will. And if you pair that with Karl Anthony Towns in a playoff series, I don't know how they get beat.
yeah. The only thing that would beat him is injuries. That's what beat him last year.
Yeah, that's
And
that's the one thing I'm worried about and why we absolutely have to add depth. And I would honestly look to add it as soon as possible. If that means making a trade before the new year like they did with OG Anunoby last year. I know it wouldn't be of the same magnitude of that trade, but if they could make a trade maybe in early to mid-January before the trade deadline, just to get to rest these guys a little bit. Get some players that Tibbs likes in his system and maybe take the load off of Brunson a little bit. Take the load off of Cat. Let Mikal and OG rest a little bit. Like it's not the worst thing in the world.
yeah, well, this is the thing. If you want to compete for a championship, you want to be healthy. You want to be prepared for everything. You want to make sure, God forbid, in the worst situations, you want to make sure, hey, this guy's coming in. This guy's going to take your place, and this guy's going to step up for you because that's exactly what you need. I know this is not an NFL show, but case in point with the Lions right now, they're all banged up. They're destroyed right now, and that's the only thing that's really the questionable factor that's holding them back from competing for a Super Bowl. here with the Knicks, it was a bunch of injuries. Who knows if that team was healthy against the Indiana Pacers last year? Or the Knicks are arguably going to Boston to face the Boston Celtics. I don't know who wins that series last year, but I don't know. It's honestly just a matter of who's if they're going to be consistently playing at this high level. This is when they need to turn on the Jets. Right now, I mean, it's December 27th, but April will be here sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I think it's just like I said before. You got to stack wins. You got to keep winning basketball games. That's the formula to success. Win when your schedule's soft. Go on these 4 or 5 game winning streaks, and then I don't care. Like there are a couple pockets in the next schedule here right now. Like I talked about before, they have 3 games coming up against Orlando and Washington, but then they play. I think they have 2 more games after that that are against like the Jazz or something. The Jazz and another team, but then they play the Thunder. If you win 3 of those 4 games, I'm okay with the loss to the Thunder. Get to 23-12. I'm good with that. And then they have another soft pocket where it's another 5 game stretch where it's real easy. Win those 5 games, and then they have the Bucks and the Thunder coming after that. And then split those games. Get to 28-13. Get to 27-14. Just do that right now, and then we'll see where we at. I'm good with whatever happens if we could do that.
Yeah, consistency. That's what you want. You need to pile wins because I don't know if the Cavs hot streak is going to continue. I don't know if the Boston Celtics are going to heat up in a clutch period. I don't know if it's someone like the Magic or the Bucks are going to magically heat up. I don't know. Anything can happen in the Eastern Conference, but they just have to, like you said, they have to pile wins, and that's the key to success right now in the NBA, especially for the Knicks. You got to pile wins. I love how you're really thinking about this one too. I love how you're like actually, like all right, we're playing the Thunder, we're playing the Bucks. We can take a loss to the
Yeah,
Thunder.
I love looking at the schedule, even if it's way too early in the season. And I love looking at those pockets where you could just stack a couple wins real quick. And then suddenly you go from a team that's 5-6, 5-6 where they were at the start of the year, and now they're at 20-10 because they won the games that they're supposed to, and they won in those little pockets, in those little coves of the season where it's
Yeah,
a weaker schedule. That's what you have to do.
yeah. I mean, it's not really like luck. Like it's the NFL. You're not like given a schedule based on your place.
No.
You're playing the same teams every year, sometimes twice, 3 times a year. So these teams, their coaching style, their play style, everything about them. So this is the thing. If you keep piling on those wins against the teams in the Eastern Conference primarily, because that's really the deciding factor of where you end up. It's not really the Western Conference that really matters in your seeding. They're gonna like let's say you're deadlocked with the Celtics at the same record at the end of the year. They're gonna look at who has more wins against Eastern Conference opponents, and that's who's gonna get the home court, and that's who's gonna potentially have a much bigger advantage in the playoffs. But about the other team, let's stop talking about the Knicks for a second. The Spurs, they put up a great game too. Like they
100%.
did too. Victor Wembanyama is a phenomenal. I'm glad he dropped 42 points. I'm glad guys like Jeremy Sohan and Chris Paul, Devin Vassell are stepping up, putting up double-digit points. I'm not worried about the Spurs right now. I mean, they're 15-15, but I feel like the Spurs could be a sneaky team in the play-in. Maybe the play-in. What about you?
I think they have, yeah, the playing chance is really their max. I think they'll end up as what is it? The bottom 2 seed, the bottom matchup of the playing tournament. Just because the West, there's so many teams that are gonna be like in it. Like you have the Timberwolves who are not good right now. They're bottom of the play, and I mean the Suns haven't really figured it out yet. Who knows what the Grizzlies and Warriors are gonna be? Like there's so many teams that are in contention in the West, and it's just is there enough room for the Spurs? The Spurs are gonna be real good in a couple years, and with the thing with Chris Paul. Right now, he's ring chasing at this point in his career. So he's looking to the future and he's saying, I want to be the Udonis Haslem, the player coach in 2, 3 years when this team is ready to win a championship. And I want to be that mentor for Wemby that he can look back to throughout his career and he could say, "That's why I got my ring in San Antonio." That's the guy that really put us over the top because every team has one. Like it was Taj Gibson and Derrick Rose forever for the Knicks. It's all these guys that they're at the back end of their career. They're looking for a ring and they're just looking to go be that player coach. That's what Chris Paul is. The Spurs have to add a ton more. Don't get me wrong, but um, but they're on the right track.
Yeah, they are. And I'm like you said with Chris Paul, I'm like glad he didn't go to a team like the Celtics. Like you said, he's ring chasing. I'm glad he didn't go to like Boston or went back to the Thunder or someone like that's a deep contender to win the NBA championship. I'm glad he went to a team that is developing, that's on the rise, that's gonna be good in a few years. And if he, I don't know how, is he what, 40? Is he 40 yet or
Yeah,
38,
I think
39?
around there.
Let's see how much he has left in the tank, but he could do a lot of things for the Spurs. Like it doesn't matter if they win a ring right now, but like he could leave them in a great position. He can give a lot of advice to these young guys. These guys are like in their early 20s, late 20s, and Chris Paul's in his late 30s. He's been around the block since 2004, and that's exactly what a team like the Spurs needs, or a team like the Rockets. If they had a vet, if they had a vet like Chris Paul, if he went back to the Rockets, I think he would help tremendously with guys like Jalen Green or Alfred Sengun. But he's on the Spurs now, and he's given a lot of great advice, clearly, because the Spurs, I mean, they're not bottom of the barrel. They're not the Utah Jazz or the New Orleans Pelicans. They're 500, and that's fine. That's a good spot to be in at the end of 2024, going into 2025. It's just a matter of how quickly can you turn it on, because the West is really competitive. Between I would say 3 and 10 right now is currently standing. Any one of those teams can make the playoffs and the play-in tournament. So it's a matter of if the Spurs can compete with teams of experience like the Lakers and the Nuggets, the Suns, the Clippers, those guys.
Yeah, I think let's do this. Let's give our like at the because this will probably be the last NBA season NBA episode we do in this year. Let's give our standings predictions for the end of the regular season. Let's start in the East. I wanted to do this before we got to the Spurs, but it's okay. We can do it for both the East and West. Let's go give our top six and then our playing teams. All right, you want to start with the
Yeah,
start
I'll go. Yeah, I'll
with the
go.
East.
With the East? Okay. All right. Now I'll make this up on the fly. All right, let's think. All right. So number one, the king of the king of the East. I'm not going Cleveland.
Let's go bottom to
Oh,
top.
bottom up. Bottom up. All right. So 10. At 10, I am going to go with the Philadelphia 76ers at 10. I think they sneak in. It's just a matter of, they're hot right now. They look great right now. And I feel like, you know what? They're a sneaky team at the end of the day. And I feel like they can just get into the dance. At 9, I'm going to go Brooklyn. At 8, I'm going to go Indiana. 7, we're going to go Miami. 6, we're going to go 6, we're going to go Atlanta. 5, we're going to go Orlando. 4, we're going to go Milwaukee. 3, we're going to go Cleveland. 2, we're going to go New York. And 1, we're going to go Boston.
All right, let's go. My pick, number 10. This is a sneaky one. The Detroit Pistons. I think the Pistons can sneak in. They've been solid this year. They've done enough, in my opinion, that I think they could just barely get into it. I like that group of guys. It's a young group, and they're I don't know. I just think they have a chance at it. All right, 9. I'm gonna take the Sixers. I think they're good enough to sneak in. We saw that with the Celtics. It was a rough start to the year, but I don't know. I don't. They're. It's too late in the season for them to really get higher than that. At 7, I'm
8.
gonna, or yeah, 8. I'm gonna go the Atlanta Hawks. I think they'll get in. They won't really do anything though. Um, and yeah, that's like that's the Hawks. That's like the perfect seating for them. At 7, this is the last playing team. I'm gonna go. Let's do the Miami Heat. I think the Miami Heat will sneak in at the playing team. That's like their ceiling as well. I think that this stuff with Jimmy Butler is becoming a real distraction, and it would be in the Heat's best interest to trade him because like I don't think he'll ever be the same for the Heat again, just because of like what's gone on. All right, at number 6, the Milwaukee Bucks. They've been good. I think they have a chance to be better. I just haven't seen enough yet. Winning the NBA Cup is cool and all, but I don't know. I haven't seen enough yet. At 5, the Orlando Magic. They're what? They're the 4 right now. I think they slide back 1 because I don't know. The injuries are going to be too much. Paolo's been out for a while. Both Wagner brothers are out, and that'll be that. At 4, oh wait, oh I messed this up. I wanted to put the Pacers at 6 and then slide everybody up.
Okay, good. I was just like, wow.
I was thinking, what's the other team? The Pacers are going to be at 7, and then everybody else will get bumped up. So the Heat will be a playoff team, and then so we'd be at number 3 now, and I think that's where the Cavs will slot in. The Cavs are going to fall from the number 1 pick and
Sure.
or the number 1 slot, and then it'll be a jumble up between there from there, and then at number 2, I think that's where the Knicks fall. Um, they're good, just not better than the Celtics right now. I think what the Knicks are going to do is they're going to add at the deadline and then just try to sprint from there, try to gel on the fly, gain their cohesion, their synergy, and from that point on, they'll be hot going into the playoffs. But the Celtics will have been a more complete team for the whole season. The Knicks will be the more complete team when it's all said and done. But right now, like the Celtics are better than them. And then at number 1 is the Celtics. I think it's pretty obvious. They're the best team in the East right now. That's that. All right, let's go with the West now.
Wow, wow, the Pistons. Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
I
Well, who else is it going to be? Is it going to be the Nets, the Hornets?
I would put the Nets over the Pistons.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Let's go West. We are gonna go bottom up again.
Yeah.
All right, 10. You know what? We were just talking about them. I think they can honestly do it. I'm going to go with the San Antonio Spurs. It's going to be somehow the race between the Spurs and everyone that's below them, and they're going to get in by 1 or 2 games of the season, and they're going to get into the play-in. I think they can. I think they can compete in the play-in tournament. I don't know if they get out of the play-in tournament, but that's a different conversation for a different day. Number 9, we are going to go. Ooh, you know what? 9, we're going to go the Clippers. We're going to have them fall a little bit.
Wow.
I do not see I just do not see them like keeping that consistency. Like I think they're okay, but I feel like this is not the Clippers team that should be. This is not the team that we all thought was going to be playing the Intuit Dome in 2020.
I didn't realize they were the 7th seed. I thought they were below that.
Yeah, Clippers. I don't know. They're shaky. 8. Uh, 8. We're gonna go with the Lakers. We're gonna go right above them. Right above them is the other LA team. I just don't. I feel like every other team's improving, and that I could see them as bigger threats. 7, we'll go Suns. 6, we're gonna go Denver. 6 is Denver. I feel Denver is kind of taking a back step this year. This is not the same Denver team we're used to.
That's interesting because I think the Nuggets fall as well. Like that, they haven't shown me that they're as good as they once were.
Exactly. I feel like this is not the same Denver team that just won a championship 2 years ago. Where was that team? Where was Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, like the dynamic duo, and that everyone's stepping up? I think they take a back step. So where we're at? Was that 6? So are we at 6 or 5?
I think you're at 6. Wait,
Sip-
you've done San
Spurs at 10.
Antonio, Clippers, Lakers, Nuggets. Yeah, so this is gonna be your 6th seed.
My 6th seed. Okay. We are going to go with the Phoenix Suns. I feel like, they're going to get it together. I feel like that team, it's not like everyone thought, oh, it's a super team. Here we go. And like everyone was like, oh, it's going to be another Brooklyn Nets where it's Kyrie, Kevin Durant, and James Harden, and it's going to not work out. I think the team right now with the Phoenix Suns is going to work out. And I think it's going to be just enough to get into the playoffs. 5, we're going to go Minnesota. I think they're going to have an extremely bounce back in 2025 in the early months. I feel like they're going to do it. They've done it once before. They can do it again. That's four. Oh, so we're looking at the four. Okay. So the four that I'm staring at right now. Number four is going to be the Houston Rockets. You know what? They have shocked me the entire season. I thought they were going to be a lot worse than 21-9. I didn't think they're going to be the reverse of that at 9-21. I think the Rockets are one of the brightest young teams in the NBA right now. That's just my opinion. So I feel like they could be four.
And let me just add on to what you said with the Rockets, because I knew the Rockets were gonna be good. I thought they were gonna be like upper play and maybe sneak into the playoffs, but they've really exceeded my expectations. I was a huge fan of the Jalen Green, Alfred Sengun core. I knew they were gonna be real good. I didn't realize they were gonna be too good, especially in the West, which is real difficult to do.
Yeah. Number three. So we're down to three. We're looking at the three. I'm going to go with Dallas. I'm going to go Dallas at the three. I think Luka is his injury. We don't know how long he's going to be out, but I feel like that's going to hurt them a little bit. But when he comes back, I think this is when they're going to go on a little bit of a run. I think that's where they fall. Number two, that leaves, wow, who would have thought in 2025, I say the top two are Memphis and the Oklahoma City Thunder. When did that come out? You know what? I say it flat out. Minnesota. Memphis at two. Oklahoma City at one. I feel like the Thunder are the biggest threat in the West right now. I feel like it's that young. They are the best young team in the league by
100%.
far. And somehow it all worked out. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, could he win MVP this year? Is this the moment he wins
I
MVP
think
this
he
year?
could. Like, who's been better than him?
Absolutely could.
Who's been
There
better?
you go. There you go.
All right. Well, let's get into my top 10 here.
Oh no.
At number 9, I'm gonna go to at number 10 rather. I'm gonna go to the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think like they fall. I think Julius and Ant, their personalities are just gonna clash. Like they don't have any chemistry on that team. I was watching when they played the Knicks a couple like a week or two ago. They looked like stagnant on offense. They looked like they didn't want to play with each other. That was it was ugly to me. So I don't know. I think they barely get into the play in, and then from that point maybe they can make a run. Anything can happen from there. At number 9, I'm gonna go to San Antonio Spurs. I think they're good enough to do it. And I also think there are a couple teams that are in the play-in/playoffs right now that have had real fluky starts, like the 10th seed, the Golden State Warriors. I think they dropped completely out. They haven't been good enough. Steph Curry does not have enough help around him. Once Buddy Hield fizzled out his production levels, it's been ugly for the Warriors. So what are we at? This will be number 8. I'm gonna go. Let's go with the Lakers. LeBron's aging. AD hasn't had his best stuff after that first 2 weeks. He always has that 2 week MVP run to start the year. He had it this year, and now he's kind of out of it. They're gonna be kind of a mediocre team, but they'll land at the A spot, still upper matchup of the play-in. So it's nothing to be ashamed of. That's where I think the Lakers should be slotted for like from the start. And then at number 7, I'm gonna go with the Clippers. Like you said, I think I flipped the order with the LA teams, but it doesn't matter. I think getting Kawhi Leonard back is going to be huge because you pair him with James Harden. We saw that worked pretty well last year. They also had Paul George in that mix, but I don't know. They've been doing pretty well. I'm surprised how much they're winning. I didn't realize they were 17-13. I thought they were, I don't know, kind of more mediocre than that, maybe closer to 500. But that's my play, and it's the Timberwolves, the Spurs, the Lakers, and the Clippers. I think that's probably the mix is going to end up being. And then my 6th seed will be the Nuggets. And then really that 6, 7, 8, that could fall any way it does. Then so like I said, the Nuggets are going to be my 6th seed. And like I added to your point, they haven't had it this year. Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray haven't been the same. It's like Jokic got was supposed to be his dad's strength. it hasn't been the same. Um, and I don't know. They haven't been as good. They're still 16 and 12, so it's not like they've been bad or anything. But I don't know. We'll see what happens with them. I think so. There's got to be a point where a switch flips and they go on a run. But what are we at? Number five. I'm gonna put the Dallas Mavericks. Luka Doncic out for a month. I'm interested to see if Kyrie Irving can lead a basketball team. Can he lead the Mavericks for at least a month? I'm skeptical of it. We saw what happened. He was able to lead the Celtics. He was able to lead the Nets for a season, but he's different now. He's more mature. He's taking a backseat to Luka Doncic. Is he going to be able to bring out that 2018 Kyrie? Is it still in him to lead a team? I don't know if it is. And for an entire month, they might be there. They'll be fine once the playoffs come around. But for that month, for this next month, I don't know. They might not be as good. And it's not saying they're a bad basketball team, and it's not a knock on Kyrie Irving. He's an awesome player. I just don't know if he could do it anymore. Like if this was 2018, 2019, 2020, heck yeah, he could do it. But I don't know if he has it in him anymore. All right, this is number 4. I'm gonna put. Let's go, Houston Rockets. I think at some point, once everybody starts to tighten up around late February into March, once the rotations get a little tighter, the teams start playing a little bit more defense, gearing up on their playoff runs. The Rockets aren't going to be ready for it. They're still young. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of this Jalen Green, Alperen Sengun core. They're not ready for it. They don't have any veterans on that team. I don't know that they're not ready for it, and they will be in a year or two. But this is gonna be a learning year for them. This is gonna be a learning experience. They might get out of the first round. They might even make it to the Western Conference Finals, but they will not win an NBA championship. They will not go to the NBA Finals this year, and that's why I have them at 4. My 3 seed is the let's go with the Phoenix Suns. I think I don't know. I'm a huge fan of Devin Booker's. I love his game. He's so smooth. His jumper is really nice. Mid-range game is awesome. And I think they have a chance to jump up the charts. They were missing Bradley Beal and Kevin Durant for a lot of this season. But now sitting at 15 and 14, I think they have a chance to make it up to that top 3 or 4 by mid-February, by the end of February. And they'll be good going into playoffs. My 2 seed, the Memphis Grizzlies. I don't know. Ja Morant, man. He's been able to do it. He's been able to stay out of trouble this year, and he hasn't been hurt. I think he's gained that maturity that we were waiting for. He's gained that level of I'm a little bit older now. I'm gonna put that gun stuff behind me. That's a man of the past. That's not me anymore. I'm just gonna come here and I'm gonna play basketball. And if in order for him to lead an NBA team that's gonna contend for a championship, he's got to do it. I love Desmond Bane's game. Jaren Jackson Jr. is a ton of fun to watch. Scottie Pippen Jr. is hooping right now. And the Grizzlies are going to end as a 2 seed. And then at the number 1 seed, the best young team in the NBA, the Oklahoma City Thunder. They stole away Isaiah Hartenstein from my New York Knicks. They traded Josh Giddey for Alex Caruso in what was a steal of a trade. They got both Jalen Williams. SGA is awesome. Chet Holmgren will be back for a playoff run. They have enough without him, though. The Thunder are going to be the number 1 seed. And no doubt, they should be looking for an NBA championship this year. Like last year, they were in the situation that I was talking about with the Rockets. It was a learning experience. They were never going to beat they weren't going to beat the Mavs. So that's my top 10. That's who I think on December 27th. But now let's go. Let's give our prediction for the NBA Finals on this December 27th. My pick right now, it's the Thunder, and I just think they're the best team in the NBA. I think they're most complete. Like I said with the Celtics before, everyone can shoot on that roster, and they've proven it. They're gonna win the NBA Finals, in my opinion.
Yeah, you know what? I was thinking about going with the Eastern Conference. Maybe maybe thinking about it. I swear to you, I honestly thought I had an argument for the Knicks. I had an argument for Boston. I even had an argument for the Cavs, but I didn't think it was a really good argument. I am going to go with the Thunder. You know what? It's their time. This is the young team that is going to prove everybody that, hey, we're for real. We don't need all these big names. We don't need LeBron, AD. We don't need a guy like Curry. We can do it with a bunch of 24, 23-year-olds, and we can rock the world. And you know what? It's going to be the Thunder. I will add, it will be the Thunder and who's joining the party? You know what? It'll be the Thunder and the Celtics. I'll give Boston their flowers. It'll be Boston, OKC, and I'm gonna take the Thunder in 6. I feel like it's gonna be competitive at the start, but I feel like that young team, that dynamic, when Chet gets back, Shea's gonna pop off, Chet's gonna pop off, Jalen Williams is gonna pop off, everyone's gonna pop off on OKC. They're gonna win the championship.
Yeah, I'll give my Eastern Conference finalists. I think it'll be the Knicks, and I'm gonna be crushed when the Thunder beat the Knicks after Isaiah Hartenstein jump ship for the Thunder, and then if they beat the Knicks in the finals, it's gonna be a tall task. It's gonna be a big order to beat the Celtics, but I think the Knicks are up for it. And let's just talk about one more game pretty quickly here. This has been a pretty long episode, I think. The Warriors game, the Warriors and the Lakers. What an awesome game. One of the last really good LeBron Curry matchups I think we'll ever see. Austin Reeves wins it, a double bang and a blocked by James from Mike Breen. But the thing I was more impressed by, a Mike Breen double bang does not ever get spoiled by another team hitting a game winner. That was just an awesome game all around. I mean, that the NBA needed it. It was huge.
They did. This was a great game. This was game number 53 between LeBron and Curry in their careers. 53rd time. And it's a good thriller they had together. I mean, they both played excellent games. They both dropped 30 bombs. And to a point that Shaquille O'Neal made early on, maybe a few weeks before this game, he said the NBA was boring because of the prevalence of three-point shots and the lack of diversity in this play. You know what? Honestly, I can agree with that all I want, but who cares? Oh, he's back. He's back. He's back on the show. You guys are live. Back on the show. What? Oh my God. You're muted. Oh my God. What just happened? You good?
Yeah, that was a crazy prank. Oh my!
What just happened?
It's okay. The power of editing will fix it. Don't worry.
No, we gotta keep that in. That was hilarious. Oh my God!
Oh my God!
Censor. Use that censor thing too.
Yeah, that was fun.
What the hell? What just happened? I'm just casually talking about LeBron and Curry dropping 30 bombs. I just see this guy hop on over out of here. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's cool right there. All right, good. That'll bring the ratings up. Anyway.
All right, let's get back to 3-2.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, welcome back. We're talking about the Lakers and the Warriors. What a game. Anyway, so Shaquille O'Neal called out the NBA's lack of the prevalence of three-point shots and the lack of diversity in the play. You know what? He could say that I think everyone's looking at the same thing and Steph Curry and those guys messed it up. Well, you know what? In a game like this that goes back and forth, Mike Breen's on the call, dropping double bangs left and right. Who cares? The three ball, this isn't 1979 anymore. This is 2024. And I think, you know what? Is it a little excessive? Sure. I mean, or like Shaquille O'Neal was used to, dunking on everybody and blocking shots, sending it to the moon and breaking backboards. Well, that's not going to happen anymore. This is a different era of the NBA. And you know what? This new era of humans that screwed it all up, apparently, to Shaquille O'Neal. You know what? These new era of humans, like these super young guys like Wembanyama, Chet Holmgren, these guys are stepping up. And this league is honestly fun to watch. I don't know if like you can agree with me here or disagree with me here, but this league is fun to watch. It was a great game. This game right here proved it entirely. Proved that the NBA needed this. Nobody was watching. What's it called? Nobody was watching
Texans,
the end of.
Ravens.
No one was watching Texans Ravens 31-2. Nobody was watching that. I don't think anyone was watching 29-10 between the Chiefs and the Steelers. This was better. This was what the NBA wants. This is what you want. You want to sit there for 2.5 hours. You want a 2-point game. You want a 3-point game. You want a buzzer beater, a game winner. You want the action, and this game brought it.
Yeah, there's a part of me that agrees with Shaquille O'Neal that there is too much three, that there's not enough ball movement anymore. It's one pass and a three. But at the same time, it's so much fun to watch. It's so much fun to watch Karl-Anthony Towns and Victor Wembanyama going 3 for 3 from 28 feet out on Christmas Day. It's so much fun to watch Steph Curry shoot the lights out. It's so much fun to watch Austin Reeves hit game winners. But at the same time, I love college basketball. College basketball is a completely different game. College basketball, it's not as much of the three-pointer, and it's transitioning to like what the NBA is a little bit. But college basketball, it's a lot of ball movement. It's old head basketball, if you will. It's what the NBA used to be. And if you want to watch basketball like that, go watch some college hoops. Go watch Duke and Kentucky. Like, I don't know. I'm good with what the NBA is right now. They don't have a product problem to me.
Exactly. If like you said, if you want to watch the basketball that Shaquille O'Neal envisions, go don't watch basketball. Watch football till February, and then go watch college basketball in March. That's the exact same hoop. That's all the hoops you're getting. The old school, fundamentals. That's what you're getting in college basketball. You're not getting that here. I am sorry. As like as a basketball fan, as you're a basketball fan, if you see Jalen Brunson, Steph Curry, any of these guys just nail a three from 30 feet to win a game, you're gonna go crazy. Everyone's gonna go crazy when they see that. I don't know. I see where he's coming from. I feel like it is like the whole like, oh, every team has the same strategy. It's just catch and shoot and next possession, catch and shoot next possession. But I feel like, you know what? There's 4 quarters and there's what I guess he didn't see is that there's a lot more that goes on in 4 quarters than just, a little mini 3-point contest.
Yeah, basketball is alive and well. I think, I don't know, once it gets to March and April, it's going to be so much focus on the sport of basketball because like with our show, with all the media around it, once the NFL ends, people don't talk spring training baseball for the whole month. They're going to talk playoff push basketball. They're going to talk about the Knicks, the Nets. If the Nets are still in contention, which they might be, depending on what they do at the deadline. They're going to talk about the Thunder, the Celtics, the teams that are really like going at it and have a chance to contend for a championship. Nobody wants to talk about, oh, is Alex Bregman going to sign with the Mets or the Yankees all the way until February? We could talk about that right now. But once the NBA gets towards the playoff push, that's when the defense starts getting better. And that's when you see less of these 3-point contests. And that's when basketball really, that's when it gets good.
Yeah, and I feel like, you know what, if we have games like this, if we have a repeat of Christmas Day every game for the rest of the season, I think the NBA is probably one of the best sports there is. But you know what? You're going to get those games where it's just a little boring. But you know what? There's 82. Each team plays 82 games. You're going to have at least a quarter of your season be thrillers, and that's the beauty of the NBA. And like you said, once we get to that late March, April, it's all about it's literally just power rankings of who's going to make it, who's going to make it, how far, and who's going to potentially win a championship, who's going to fall in the playoffs, who's going to look good coming into the next season. That's the beauty of the NBA. It's like with the NFL, it's just like, February Super Bowl, and that's it. That's all you get until August, and you get the draft in April. You get the season in August, and that's it. Then it's the same cycle. But the NBA has a lot of jam-packed moments that you could imagine. Look at February. You get All-Star Weekend. Sure, it's been a little, iffy. The slam dunk contest isn't what it was. The three-point contest isn't what it was. But you know what? It's still a fun time. Like, people still tune in. People still show up. And it's a great experience just to watch, like, two guys going at it, Steph Curry going against somebody, just shooting 53 pointers, or somebody dunking over somebody's car. It's fun. Like, I don't care if it doesn't get a 50, but it's fun. Like, the NBA is like fun, like, year round.
Yeah, there's just so much more action to it. But when the NFL is in full swing like it is right now, there's nothing getting in the way of it. All right, that's gonna do it for this episode. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing or following based on your platform. Tell your friends, tell everyone you know, tell them to check out the podcast. But for now, I'm Ben Ballion, and that's Jason Lee, and you listen to Chasing Victory with Ben Ballion and Jason Lee.